folks, listen up. Anyone know this site? It is not Randall's. The person in charge of it has taken Randall's work, posts as Randall, emails as Randall, and has cut the real Randall out of commenting, posting, and all monies from the sale of his classes and other materials. His commentary is vile enough for Twitter, and he's been hosing Randall for years. No more. Delete that page from your list and get ready, because Dr. Robitaille isn't the only one with an upcoming release this week. A brand new site for Randall is coming, controlled by Randall, approved by Randall. It is going to be a big week here from the titans of our community, so saith their vizier. We greatly appreciate your support. We've got wind map forecasts and shots of our star to close, and of course we'll do this all again tomorrow, right here, but right now it's 4:20 a.m. in the new Valley of the Sun. Eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everyone.
So the other thing we wanted to mention quick is that RandallCarlson.com is where everything Randall Carlson is. Sacred Geometry International is not anything Randall Carlson affiliated.
Well, there's still Randall Carlson stuff there, but not authorized to be there. We'll put it that way.
And leave it at that for now, yeah.
For now, yes.
So RandallCarlson.com, people. If you're not there, then it's not officially Randall Carlson or Cosmographia, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. And so RandallCarlson.com has, it's a brand new website. It's beautiful. Professionals built it, and it's got everything related to the podcast. It also has blog posts that Randall is writing for it, and he's doing audio versions of those. There's merchandise there, so if you want one of these awesome Cosmographia t-shirts, or other merch, we're getting more. Randall's made compasses. There's the platonic solids that they make out of various types of wood that you can get there. All kinds of cool stuff, all available at the website, and more is always coming. So yeah, there's one of the framework.
Yeah, the framework of a dodecahedron.
Yes.
What, I can buy one of those on the website?
And one thing to mention, because I've seen this on Twitter once or twice, is that you're not affiliated. There's because if people look for you on the web, they'll run into something called is it Sacred Geometry International, and I know that we talked about this earlier, but you're not affiliated with that. And I'd seen it also on Twitter, because people think that's you on Twitter. There's also an official Randall Carlson on Twitter. It's not SGI. It's not Sacred Geometry International. I don't believe you're affiliated with them in any way, and certainly don't benefit from it in any way. Or make
I do not. I am not affiliated. I was.
Yeah.
And at some point in the near future, I'll get into why I'm no longer associated with it.
Okay.
For the time being, though, people need to know that any sales of my work there, I receive zero remuneration for it. So if you think you're going there and you're buying a class or a DVD or anything like that, or making a contribution, I see none of that money.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if you're looking for Randall's work, find it here at HowTube, your website.
Yes, and I will mention the Sacred Geometry course that's for sale on there is 10 years old, and it was never finished. And that's one of the reasons, amongst others, why I've pretty much... we are now creating a new Sacred Geometry course that probably will not really be available till early summer.
Okay.
But it's going to be kick-ass. That's all I can say.
I'll admit.
I'm streaming on Twitch too. So.
We just want to sort of get the message out once and for all on all the platforms, sort of from the horse's mouth, that Sacred Geometry International and Randall Carlson are no longer affiliated. They haven't been for quite some time. It has been several years since Randall has seen any income or anything like that from the website. The person you see on Twitter tweeting is not Randall. It does not share his opinions. He's not associated with it. And basically, it's been a sale of Randall's work for a few years now, which he has not been compensated. So we did want to sort of mention that on this show as well, because we're trying to get that out because people are still buying stuff from the show and or from the website, thinking that it's going to Randall or they're supporting Randall's work. The only place to do that is over at randallcarlson.com, where you can get to everything. You can get to the contact at the cabin from there, and you can get to everything there. So that is sort of where we wanted to end of this, is sort of make that very clear to everybody.
Right, and also the Facebook page, SGI, any other social media that's SGI is not posts from Randall and never has been.
Right.
Yeah, it's all the Randall Carlson, or Twitter is Randall W. Carlson.
Mm-hmm.
So
You want to
doesn't
add
say
anything to that,
his name.
Randall?
Oh, someone's asking in the chat about Geocosmic Rex,
Oh, that guy.
which is Brad, of course.
Good.
Yeah, that is Brad.
Can't get rid of him.
No,
I do all that.
That's Geocosmic, which is now part of the greater family of things that are coming together here in this effort that we're doing.
Right.
So, yeah, if it hasn't come through, if people haven't noticed, SGI has never posted a single thing about the Cosmographia, which is the Randall Carlson podcast. And SGI has never posted a single thing about that. So that's a big clue that there's not an association there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's also never posted anything about Geocosmic Rex. So he's kind of been on his own path for too long.
And for years turned the site the social media site into a personal soapbox to promote QAnon, which, whether you believed it or not, it was not the place. The Sacred Geometry International was not the place for indulging in that. And and of lately now it's been anti-Masonry, ridiculous conspiratorial nonsense about Freemasonry that's so absurd that it's almost laughable. But the irony there is that many Freemasons have supported that site, have purchased the classes, have purchased the compasses and the things that are there, and have promoted that site. And also the fact that there would not be sacred geometry as we know it today if the Freemasons had not preserved it for us. So it seems rather ironic that now he's posting things, but it's maybe perhaps not ironic given the fact that I'm been a Freemason and I hold the craft in very high esteem, to post things saying that Freemasonry is a kind of satanic conspiracy or whatever is probably a way of getting a dig at me, maybe. But in either case, it's ridiculous and it has no place there, because Freemasonry is a noble institution that has preserved a great deal of very important knowledge and wisdom, and to see it dragged down into the mud with these ridiculous conspiracy theories is really disturbing and disappointing to me. And the fact that he's using the social media now as a forum for posting that kind of garbage is, to me, just an insult. So again, what Darren said, I received no money from the sales of that, any of the content that I provided and created for that website. And it's disappointing to me that it started out good, but somewhere along the line, there just became too much drama. And at some point, we will go into great detail on that. But everybody here has seen and had some experience with the administrator of that site.
And we joke about satanic worship and all these devil sites that are around everywhere, but there's factions that would look at anybody who studies the cycles of the moon or looks at the astrological constellations. Well, those are devil worshippers. So we just kind of joke about that because we're interested in what's happening with the moon and on the moon and potentially in the moon.
Hail Satan.
Well,
Absolutely.
As somebody who's studied deeply into symbolism, all of that, to me is just to take it and make it like it's literal they don't understand that all of that is all of the Satan, the devil, Lucifer. They're not the same thing. They're all nuanced symbols, and that's what they are. They're symbols for talking about natural forces. And to cast it like there's some literal meaning to it is ridiculous. It's infantile. And now to cast Freemasonry as if it's some kind of a satanic conspiracy is truly, really ridiculous. And anybody who would post such a thing, I would think, has immediately forfeited their right to host a website that is dedicated to sacred geometry, which is the legacy of the craft.
Well said. Well, gentlemen, I thank you all for a fantastic trip last week, a life-changing event, as mentioned by several attendees.
Yes, indeed.
I look.
Into dowsing, maybe not, but I think our audience has a good handle on that particular practice. It has come up before, but that's the magic of Randall Carlson. You guide him out of the harbor, you push him out to sea, and you just let him chart his own course through. It was also important to me to give a plug to the Grammarica events and Randall's field trips. I'm thinking it's going to motivate me to get more involved in these things and maybe make my own field trips and meetups. I've had good and bad experiences with that. But I could be traveling the country on the company dime, meeting fans in bars, seeing new cities, bringing out guests to hang out with us. It's all fun stuff up in my head, but it's hard for me to section off the time. It's always kind of just on to the next show, scrambling to finish the month on time, taking a few days for myself and getting back to it for the next month. Maybe 5 shows doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a preparation day, reading a book, recording day, editing day, wrap up and upload day, booking these shows, answering emails, throwing in a joint session, all while trying to at least give myself some of the weekends to not think about work, but it happens. It's not overwhelming, but it's just constant. It is whelming. I'm fully whelmed. To throw in a flight to anywhere to hang out with listeners takes time. Going out with Randall for 6 days, I mean, that's a lot. That means cramming a month of shows into 3 weeks. It can be done. I do it all the time when I have life obligations, but it's tough to just add more to the calendar. And I don't know why I'm bothering you with this. I guess just to say that I am a man of 2 minds, what I want to do and what I actually end up doing. But that is life, right? I just know that I do have this big network that is never really tapped. Travel is back open. There's just so much potential there. Maybe we start with a San Diego meetup at least. I don't even know if there are enough locals to support that, but we could try. I don't know. I'll think about it. It's really the prospect of getting up on a stage and doing some kind of presentation or taking the mic and addressing everybody that is a little too nerve-wracking. But if it's a casual bar hangout, like some kind of weirdo convention or conspiracy high school reunion kind of format, that I think I'd want to do. It's the thing I always bitch about, but if I had one of my best friends co-hosting this show with me, like so many of my colleagues get to do, it would be so much easier because it's just me and a buddy going to Orlando or Denver or Portland together, and we would just navigate it all with a wingman. Of course, a lot of you guys who have been here for a long time know that I tried to have co-hosts with THC, and it just wasn't quite clicking. But when this going out in the field stuff is just a solo experience, it's harder for me to motivate myself to set something up and wade into the unknown. Oh well, another big factor in getting Randall back was letting people know about his bad experience with Sacred Geometry International. I don't even know too much about the details, but clearly a site was built up around Randall's work. He promoted it for years on all sorts of podcasts, and then he got burnt. It seems like his web person could not help but inject their own interests and political beliefs into the whole thing, and that's not cool. It'd be like if my web guys were also members of PETA and they just started injecting that into everything THC. It's irrelevant and it's not representative of my voice. And if that stuff you're injecting is as controversial as Q stuff or Trump stuff, then it really has no place there. Make your own website for that. I don't know. Two sides to every story, whatever. I'm not trying to inject myself into the situation that I don't really know much about. But a site built on dozens of presentations and hours of Randall's work, which is the result of his knowledge that he's gleaned because of his discipline and dedication for decades, they should be lucky to get any part of that, and really should be paying him at least half, if not more. So I heard about all that, and I just put myself in his shoes. He's the talent, not the technical side, and he's had access to the biggest podcast in the world, has done a few episodes with Joe Rogan. You tell people this is your site, and then they screw you over? Ugh, that would frustrate me so much. It's not like you can just pop over to Joe Rogan after a year and say, hey, give people my new site information now. It doesn't really work that way. It's just on to the next show. It all left a very sour taste in my mouth, and it motivated me even more so to throw Randall on our schedule and help him get the word out about the changes and his latest work and all that good stuff. Seems like it's going really well, and the Cosmographia podcast is a lot of fun.
Excellent.
So I want to add one thing before we go, because I just want people to know again that I'm no longer associated with the Sacred Geometry International site. I receive no compensation for any of my content that's being sold there. And I want people to know that, I just want people to know that if you purchase something from that website, all the money is going to the administrator. None of it goes to me. And he has ignored 2 cease and desist letters to stop selling my work without remuneration to me, which he has ignored. So I think it's just time that people started understanding what's going on there, because it's not right what's happening.
He's ripping you off is what's going on. He's totally ripping you off and trying to steal your work. And it's it's bordering criminal.
So, yeah, and if you're a member of the site, I would, I think people need to know just the simple fact that I receive no compensation, no remuneration for any of the sales of the CBD. I mean, the DVDs with my content, the many video clips that are being posted there that are being monetized through, advertising, any sales of classes whose content was entirely my creation. I see none of that and have not for almost 3 years now. So I'm also not a proponent of all the half-baked conspiracy theories that are constantly being promoted on the social media of the Sacred Geometry International website. So just that we're clear on that.
Yeah.
Also.
Good.
That's
yeah.
right.
Thank you for stating that clearly. On the positive side, these trips in the last 2 months have been extraordinary. The people we've met, the contacts.
I want to mention one more thing just to remind everybody that the only authorized source for my work is randallcarlson.com, Cosmographia How Tube. There is the site that is still continuing to sell my work that I receive absolutely nothing from. It's all going to the administrator of the website who, for whatever reason, has convinced himself that he's now entitled to sell my work, lead people to believe that they are supporting me when I have nothing to do with it anymore. So I just want to remind people, and also spread the word that, that entire website at Sacred Geometry International, based upon my work, has been hijacked.
All right.
All right.
Must be said.
RandallCarlson.com, folks.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Rope. So that was the whole process of learning how to use this instrument to create these drawings. And it was, like I said, it was just an introductory course to show the basics. So goes way beyond that, and we're going to do follow-ups on that. We're also we're creating a course that is going to be, when it's done, I think it'll be the course. It's going to include instructions in the drawing. It's going to include animations. It's going to be a pretty juicy course when it's done. And I don't think there's anything else like it. The one that's being sold over at Sacred Geometry International is the beta version. It's 10 years old and it's not complete. So don't spend your money on that one, folks. Save for the upgrade that's coming down the pike this summer. And the reason we did this workshop was to begin to kind of launch the momentum towards that goal. And Laura, you were at the workshop. Brad was there.
Of the planet.
Okay. One last thing I'll mention is that there is a website out there that I was once affiliated with, and it's no longer, due to multiple issues, I had to break away from it. It was launched ostensibly to be a showcase for my work, and it turned into the webmaster turned it into his own soapbox to promote conspiracy theories.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And
what was that?
Sacred Geometry International.
Oh, really?
Yes. So he continues to fraudulently use my name, my face, to sell my work. I receive no money and have received no money in over 3 years now. But if you go to the website, you'll totally think, yeah, this is Randall's website, and I'm going to donate. I'm going to buy this. It'll go to Randall. It doesn't. It's too bad because it started out good, but then along the way, it's not what it appeared to be, and turned into a con job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got to rant for a moment because I'm just so baffled right now. So I just got off the phone with Randall Carlson. I'm helping him promote his upcoming live stream on Sacred Geometry. And we were talking, and he began to share with me something he's been having to deal with for the past 4 years now that is the most frustrating and infuriating thing I've heard in a while. Long story short, Randall Carlson is being robbed. Before Randall started his Cosmographia podcast, he partnered with somebody named Cameron Wiltshire to create what is called Sacred Geometry International. It's a YouTube channel and website promoting and selling Randall's work that he's accumulated over decades. The agreement Randall made with this Wiltshire guy is that they would split 50-50 any of the revenue they got from the channel or the products they would sell. When the time came that Randall asked for his percentage of the revenue, the guy completely cut him off and hasn't given him a penny to this day. Randall has since tried to disassociate himself with this man and tell him to stop selling his work, even going as far as giving him 2 cease and desist letters, yet the man continues to sell Randall's work. Here is the Sacred Geometry International YouTube channel, and you can see Randall Carlson right here at the front, and all of these videos are all of Randall Carlson's work. However, Randall has nothing to do with this channel anymore, and it's very misleading. The website, Sacred Geometry International, is selling items that Randall doesn't make any of the revenue off of any purchases or donations to this channel. However, he is listed as an SGI team member right on top of this guy, Cameron Wiltshire. That's the guy who is defrauding Randall Carlson. This guy has sent letters and text messages to members of Randall's team trying to basically ruin their relationships. All sorts of crazy accusations. Randall read me the messages, and it's astonishing. And in some of the messages, the man admits that he has been using the revenue he gains from Randall Carlson's work to pay his bills. So basically, I'm just letting you guys know this to possibly get the word out and let everybody know that Sacred Geometry International is a fraudulent website and YouTube channel. It is not Randall Carlson. People need to know this, and this guy needs to be taken down. I don't care what you do with this information from here. Go let him have it. Like, this is like lawsuit worthy kind of stuff. Like, we're talking thousands of dollars that this man has been robbing right out from underneath Randall Carlson. And Randall Carlson is such a genuine, good human being. It's just disgusting that this kind of filth is able to just fester and thrive off of somebody else's work. So, rant over.
Reminding people until the word gets spread that the use of my name and the sales of my my work and use of my likeness and all over at Sacred Geometry International is illegal, and I receive nothing if you patronize that site. So just want to keep that word out so people know. And everything authentically Randall and my friends and colleagues and all of you is going to be at randallcarlson.com.
There you go, folks.
Here we are. Yep.
Thank you guys so much. And Andrew, thanks for the $10 at the end here. And thanks to everybody else who super chatted. And thanks to all of you in the chat, hanging out.
Thank you all.
Entertaining
Yeah,
us.
really, man. That's what makes this so much fun.
Yeah.
It was
Knowing
great
that
time.
these
We
folks
need you
are
and
out
we
there.
love you.
All right. Good night, folks.
Cool.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
All right, ciao.
I'll also remind people that Sacred Geometry International is not my site. It's selling my work and using my name and my likeness. It's not me. It's actually illegal, but just want people to know it'd be great if you did not patronize that site, especially if you're going to do the geometry courses. There is a unfinished beta version being sold on that site. Don't spend your money on that site, on that course, because a much improved one is being developed right now, which will become available this fall.
Yep. And if you're interested in it, go to randallcarlson.com or find him on HowTube. Would be my recommendation. All right, Randall. Thanks so much. I very much appreciate your time again.
Ben. Enjoyed
Cheers,
it.
Randall. All right, mate. Cheers. Bye.
Okay, and I hate to end on an unpleasant note, but I got to do this. So a lot of people do know that there's a website out there that I was once affiliated with until a long series of events and things just made it utterly impossible to keep working with this administrator with whom I entrusted a great deal of my premier work. Anyhow, around 4.5 years ago, he decided because he used as an excuse the alliance that we formed when he found out that Russ and Kyle had volunteered to help me and Brad launch a podcast to focus primarily on our geological work. He goes ballistic and sends the most obscene, disgusting text to Russ and Kyle, attacking them personally, calling them names. And I'm almost certainly at some point in the near future going to go public with this, just so you can see for yourself. But he attacks Russ and Kyle and then decided that he no longer needed to compensate me as per our very clear, simple, clean agreement to compensate me for the sales of my work. So he ingratiated himself to me at a time when I needed help with the website, and then proceeded to build the website and then seize it as his own. he began to use it to promote conspiracy theories with which I didn't go along, or that at least had no place on a website that was ostensibly going to showcase my work. And that was the whole point of the website. The Sacred Geometry International was my name for the website. The content was 90% all mine that I created. The website was successful because I went on between 40 and 50 podcasts to promote it. And then in October of 2018, after repeated requests to give me access to the sales of my work on the website, and after multiple refusals, after actually a total of 9 requests on my part, 1 on the part of my wife, 1 on the part of Rowan, my brother, we still don't have any knowledge as to how much has been sold off there of my work, of the content I created. He's kept 100% of all the money coming in. He's continued to go behind my back, trying to basically libel me. He's written a very poisonous letter to Graham Hancock that Graham basically saw through instantly. He's written to other people that trying to discredit me because he knows that I'm starting to talk about what's been going on over there. So the fact of the matter is that he continues to sell my work. I have received no compensation since October of 2018. He's been served with 2 cease and desist letters, which he has ignored. And he then left the state of Georgia, in which he had lived his entire life, moved to Texas, presumably thinking perhaps that if he went across state lines, he would be less vulnerable to justice. Anyhow, our good friend, Clyde, our attorney, good friend, wrote a letter to Bluehost, the host of the website, maybe a month ago, telling Bluehost that Sacred Geometry International was infringing upon my copyright claims. And Bluehost responded back, said, well, we have informed the administrator of the site that he needs to remove your work, your copyrighted intellectual property from the website within 48 hours. Please check back after 48 hours. If it's still there, let us know and we will take further action. Within 48 hours, before we could even get back to him, the website was gone. Apparently somebody at Bluehost looked at it and saw how glaringly obvious it was that all of my work and my face, my name plastered all over the thing with the big sales was fraudulent. The site went down, and what he then did was migrated it over to an offshore account and relaunched it. So that's what he's doing now. He's got a hosting venue out of Malaysia. If you go to the website, Sacred Geometry International, you can see for yourself. He's selling my work. He's been selling it to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars, and I've not seen a penny of it, like I said, since October of 2018. So I have decided that, I've entreaties to do the right thing have been ignored. So I've decided it's time to just go public with the whole thing, let people know what's going on, know that that's my work that's being sold over there, that I've not received a single penny. And he can go, and he probably will go online and accuse me of lying. The problem is he's left an enormous paper trail, and everything that I'm saying can be easily backed up by reams of documentation, and the many people that have been involved in this thing since it went down, that have seen what's going on and will confirm the 100% truth of what I'm saying. What I would like to do, again, is get this out there to as many people as possible. He has disabled comments on the social media aspect of Sacred Geometry International, no doubt because too many people were calling him out. But he's apparently making a living by selling my work, and the time has come to bring it to an end. And this is why I want people to know what's going on over there. And if you can spread the word that all of that sales and everything that's going on there, I have nothing to do with it. I've had nothing to do with the QAnon, pedophilia rings, Pizzagate, all of the things he's been using the site to promote. Now, it's satanic Freemasonry that he's promoting, which is just completely ridiculous. the stuff he's putting up there. So, and I think the main reason for that is that's his way of going like this to me, because he knows I love and honor the craft. So, and then the other thing that's so ironic about the whole thing is there wouldn't be sacred geometry if the Freemasons hadn't preserved it and perpetuated it for half a millennia to great cost of themselves. There wouldn't be. That's where the primary source of sacred geometry, where it comes from. So he's sitting on top of a site called Sacred Geometry International while he's at the same time posting childish, ridiculous conspiracy theories about Freemasons. So anyways, I want people to know that, and there will be more, because I think what we're going to do is, like I said, there's an enormous amount of documentation that will support everything I'm saying. And I think the time is coming to put it out there in the interest of disclosure so everybody can see for themselves. And Russ and Kyle and Brad, you know yourselves, you've seen, of course, because you were the recipients of that scathing, obscene text that he sent to you guys. So, you know, I'm not exaggerating at all, am I? No.
Not at all.
Not at all. All right. So that's all I'm going to say about that. On a good note, there's really incredible things happening. We didn't. And I'm going to bring it up and remind people that on the Sacred Geometry International site, my work is being sold with no remuneration to me. It's been sold illegally by somebody who's been served 2 cease and desist letters, which he's ignored because apparently he's making too much money off of selling my work, I guess. But he was recently booted off of Bluehost because of copyright infringement, and he migrated everything over to an offshore internet hosting site, and then is continuing to sell my work, presumably thinking now he's immune to the legal consequences of his actions. So I just want people to know that Sacred Geometry International is a fraudulent site. It's selling my work illegally, and it's going to be coming to an end very soon.
RandallCarlson.com.
I'll be
That's
get into that story.
That's the place. RandallCarlson.com. Everything legitimate. RandallCarlson.com, and anything you see connected with Brad or the Serpent Brothers, Grimerica, Ben Van Kerkwick, that's going to all be legitimate, because these are all good people that I've been working with, and I think my trust in these people is not misplaced at all.
And if you see anything from Normal Guy, it's bogus. I'm not anywhere.
Now I have
normalguy.org.
In orbit.
Oh my God, we better go get those domains.
We better go check that domain.
While I think of it, I'll just quickly remind everyone that the website Sacred Geometry International is still illegally selling my work.
Fraudulent.
People believe it's me. So trying to get the word out because it's been going on way too long. And yeah, the individual in question who's running the website was deplatformed by Bluehost, and he migrated all of my content over to an offshore, where was it, Malaysia, I believe.
Yeah.
And is still selling my work, still taking donations, letting people believe they're donating to me, and then at the same time going behind my back and trying to discredit me, because of course he doesn't want the truth being publicized, because he's been profiting off selling my work with no remuneration to me for years now. And so spread the word.
RandallCarlson.com. That's the only
That's
place
the only site. RandallCarlson.com, howtube.com. Our podcast right here, Cosmographia. And
yep, got to do that. Yeah, if you notice that the website purporting to be Randall, but it never mentions the Randall Carlson podcast, beware.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the right space.
Mm-hmm. And he's, as our audience grows, he's doing everything he can to optimize the site so that if you put in Randall Carlson, that'll come up near the top. So it's a fraud.
Yeah.
Speaking of cons and frauds, that
one.
one is.
Yeah, that
okay.
is actually a con. Yeah. All right, guys. Great
All
stream.
right.
Thank you
Good
so
to
much
see
to
you
the
guys
chat.
again.
Even from a year ago is still ongoing, is still very interesting stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, and go ahead and make the SGI statement up front here, because
Good idea.
A lot of people don't make it to the very end, and that's really got to get cleared off the books there. That's gone on too long.
That has gone on way too long. Yeah. So I'm sure some of you know what that's about. For those of you who don't, there's a site out there, Sacred Geometry International, that I tried to partner with a number of years ago, and then that just went south because of a lot of things that are going to soon be disclosed. But in any case, the administrator of the site's been selling my work for at least 4 or 5 years now with no remuneration to me whatsoever. And he lets people believe they're buying my work, which it is my work, but people do believe that they're buying from me, that I'm receiving money for it. I'm not. I haven't received a penny in at least 4.5 years from the sales of my work. And he's been served twice with 2 cease and desist letters. And probably as a result of getting the second one, he left the state and moved to another state. And then shortly after there, relaunched the website on a Malaysian host, where it's much more difficult to get copyrights shut down. So it's right now, all use and sales of my work from that website, Sacred Geometry International, is fraudulent and illegal. So we've gotten that out of the way, and let's get back to the good stuff.
So there will be a new Sacred Geometry series of courses.
Oh,
classes, yes. That will be much better versions of what were beta test there that he's still selling, that weren't even really supposed to be sold, but he's still putting them out there and offering sales 50 off, which means he's not paying Randall the 50 that he's supposed to.
Right. So yeah, it's I think it comes very much under the definition of embezzlement. So he is selling a unfinished beta version of the Sacred Geometry course, which is why that website was launched in the first place, was to try to serve as a venue to put Sacred Geometry courses out there. So a long train of things, which I'm sure as legal proceedings go forward here, all of that detail will come out, exactly what went down. People will be able to see for themselves. So anyways, that's don't buy anything from that site. Don't donate. And if you feel so inclined, let people know. Sacred Geometry International is fraudulently selling Randall Carlson's work.
So the Facebook account, the Twitter account that's purported to be Randall, people think it's him making posts. He has not done any of that any of the years, and that's continued. So,
yep,
we got to get that ended. So we want more people to know. Another frustrating thing about the Rogan show that didn't come out, but Randall made an announcement about that to really try to get it spread widely, and that hasn't come out. We're going to get there.
Yeah, we're going to get there. Okay, so there we go. There we are. I lost you. So what happens sometimes is I was looking at the file I'm going to pull up. It puts you guys in a thumbnail, but it puts you in this little thumbnail, and I guess what happens is it gets lost up there I've got this astronomical desktop, and up in the stars in the Milky Way, it's like you guys are this little thumbnail, and I'm like, where did you guys go? And then I look up there and I see that little thumbnail kind of coming through the Milky Way galaxy, Okay, there you
definitely get on another trip, and I recommend to everybody out there to go on one of your trips because I learned more.
We've got one coming up in 2 weeks that I think we've still got 3 seats open.
Well, this isn't saying much, but I learned more in that 1 week on your trip than I did in 4 years of college.
Oh, wow.
It's not saying much though.
Yeah. Also, the one last thing I got to say, just to remind people, do not patronize Sacred Geometry International. He's still out there stealing my name, my work, and making money off of it. And he's putting up the worst, most ignorant, childish garbage, conspiratorial garbage about Freemasonry. It's like literally scraping the bottom of the barrel of conspiratorial nonsense. And he's putting it out there on a site called Sacred Geometry International, completely oblivious to the fact that there wouldn't even be sacred geometry if the Freemasons had not preserved it for us for centuries. That's why we have sacred geometry. And so
where is your official website? What is it?
Randallcarlson.com.
That's it.
Randallcarlson.com. That's the only official stuff. Do not patronize that site. Do not even click on the videos of mine that he's stolen and put up there, because then he gets the advertising revenue. And in fact, what I would actually suggest people to do is to whatever social media he's got now, join that and expose them. Call them out. Ask them how much, you're using, you're selling and marketing Randall's work. How much money does Randall get? How much has he gotten in the last 5 years from the sales of his work? And the number, of course, is 0. So yeah, it's when it was just harming me, I wasn't that critical, but it's harming the whole effort. It's harming my family, my friends, the circle of people that I'm working with, because it's diverting critical resources. And yeah, people just need to know. People need to know that is not me over there.
Well, only one website, randallcarlson.com.
Randallcarlson.com.
That's it.
That's it.
Well, I really want to thank you for taking the time to chat. I learned a ton.
Good. I hope you did, and we'll talk soon, Mark.
I'll get this out soon.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Sounds good. So long.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah.
These scientists doing really good work, and all of you people out there who support podcasts, support those guys.
Support these guys, because they're doing the stuff we talk about. I mean, this is
Mm-hmm.
they're doing the work. So,
and we've gotten to know a lot of them over the years, and so we're kind of going to, anything that they do, they discover, we're going to kind of be on the first tier of getting that information that we then would share on our podcasts and all the things that we're doing. So yes, definitely. And I got a personal thank you from Alan West. So he said that somebody heard me talking about Comet Research Group. I got to get the details from him on Joe Rogan, and donated, I think he said it was $1.5 million.
oh my God, that's great.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they've got some plans in the works for that, and we will be
Get to Hiawatha.
we'll have front row seats.
Record everything.
Last thing, I'll just remind everyone that Sacred Geometry International website is selling my stuff, and it's a total fraud. And he's trying to ride on our coattails as our numbers go up. He's trying to optimize so that he can ride right along on our coattails and embezzle as much money as he can out of my work before the hammer drops. But if anybody here is interested in helping this, to spread the word that Sacred Geometry International is a fraudulent website, fraudulently selling my work. And it has been served with 2 cease and desist letters, which he has ignored, and has had the website shut down once, and he relocated it to Malaysia, where he believes he'll be able to get away forever and ever by profiting off of my work. So I'm just bringing this up because he has sort of ramped up his game again recently as we're getting more and more attention and we're getting greater numbers of people following what we're doing. He's trying to milk it. So I want people to know about that and to really to spread the word that Sacred Geometry International is a fraudulent website in terms of selling my work, which is
no connection with Randall, no remuneration,
remuneration.
There it is. No payment to Randall from what is brought in through that website at all. And in about 5 years at this point,
close to 5 years since I've received a penny. And if you knew this guy, you would not want to give him a penny of your money. So
RandallCarlson.com.
RandallCarlson.com is the place to go.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right, guys. Certainly enjoyed it.
I was going to say, last thing.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Bronze Age collapse. And
worth watching. Last thing I'll say, just remind people, if you want to help us out, the site Sacred Geometry International is still fraudulently selling my work and stealing not only from me and my family, but from the whole team here. And as we increase our fan base and our downloads and everything, he's using optimization techniques to siphon traffic away. And he's doing some really just crazy stuff on the site, conspiracy theory nonsense. And yeah, so you go there. I highly ask people to go to that site, Sacred Geometry International. And if you are so inclined, go to the social media and post that and just let people know that anything sold, any contributions, none of it goes to me. None of it. I haven't seen a penny in over 4 years now from the sales of my work. Also, he's monetizing videos that Brad produced. So he's actually stealing from Brad. I think he's got some other stuff maybe that you guys have done. I know he's got some of Darren's stuff in his 90 video clips that he's got up.
He was selling access to like a big file with a bunch of podcast interviews you had done with other people's shows, and ours is in there. Brian Erica's in there, and a bunch of other people. So he's like selling our material.
Yes,
because it has you in it. Yeah,
and it's totally fraud, and people need to know. And I am gonna be putting something out so many people find out what's been going on. But if you want to help us out, let people know that site is completely fraudulent. He's been served with cease and desist that he cannot use my name, my image, my work, but he continues to do it. So, it's really a toxic situation, and it needs to come to an end, and people could help with that just by spreading the word. Thanks.
Yeah.
So
RandallCarlson.com is the right website.
Randall, thanks. Yep. RandallCarlson.com. So that should be.
All that stuff must cost money. Where's the best place for people to support you? Is it Patreon? Is that the best place?
For now, yeah. And then remind you, the same old thing has been going on, with Sacred Geometry International. Since he's starting to get called out now, he's trying to go on the offensive, and he's going online calling me a bunch of names and stuff.
Yeah. Me and him got in a fight. Yeah, we had it out.
Oh, really? Recently?
Yeah, he found my new Twitter account. I haven't blocked him. I've only muted him, so he might still be, he might still be yelling at me, but I can't see it, which is kind of how I like it. I don't like to block people. I like to mute them so that they don't know that I can't see them.
Right, right.
But yeah, we should mention that of course, Sacred Geometry International does not support Randall in any way, shape, or form. You have to go to randallcarlson.com.
Sell my work and monetizes my content, but I haven't seen a penny from any of it in going on 5 years now. And he posts a bunch of stuff that's total nonsense that I just want people to know that I'm not associated with the nonsense being posted by the webmaster on that site.
You are on Twitter again, though, right? I think it's Randall W. Carlson.
Good question. Well, if you go to randallcarlson.com or howtube.com, that'll get you, you'll find the links to all of that. And yeah, I got the new website that's going to be launched very soon. Laura Clapp has been working on it, but of course she got sidelined by a month in Egypt. So
I heard there's a rumor that we might get you out to Egypt yet.
Well, I've always wanted to get back there. I mean, 2 weeks was not nearly enough time to take it all in. But I'm looking at an Azores trip.